is Jesse Cox at Jesse Cox, and Alex is a
Fasciani A. Find me on Twitter.
Fasciani.
Yeah.
There you go. And I hope this is a long run.
Yeah, and if you're a lo-fi 80s synthwave producer,
hit us
hit
up.
me up. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get. Yeah, exactly. So we don't have to do mouth things for our intro. But so right now,
where's our Stranger Things intro?
I know, right? Oh, that'd be badass. So the plan right now too is like every 2 weeks, right, boys? So that's the goal for now. And then if this gets like people really like it, we can bump it up if we have the time to do it.
Sounds good to me.
That sound right? Cool. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back with another episode of the Chilluminati podcast in a couple of weeks. That topic will be announced when we put the episode up. We'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cold Blood, Nordic True Crime. In 1977, a pipe bomb explodes in a phone booth in Gladsaxe, Denmark. It's the start of a 2-year bombing spree that grips the nation in fear. The police have no leads apart from a series of mysterious letters from Podimo. This is Cold Blood, Nordic True Crime, a series exploring outrageous crimes from Scandinavia, crimes that made headlines and gripped the region. Listen wherever you get podcasts, or for early access and to listen ad-free, subscribe to Podimo on Apple Podcasts. Cold Blood, Nordic True Crime. In 1977, a pipe bomb explodes in a phone booth in Gladsaxe, Denmark. It's the start of a 2-year bombing spree that grips the nation in fear. The police have no leads apart from a series of mysterious letters from Podimo. This is Cold Blood, Nordic True Crime, a series exploring outrageous crimes from Scandinavia, crimes that made headlines and gripped the region. Listen wherever you get podcasts, or for early access and to listen ad-free, subscribe to Podimo on Apple Podcasts.
Well, let's get into Skinwalkers. I don't know if you guys saw Twitter, but did you see that webpage I was deep diving into with the space stars and I was like, it's a whole website dedicated to Skinwalker Ranch that just documents everything, and they have all kinds of reports and shit on it. And it was just going through that website. It felt again very similar to Amityville, where I just felt like I was diving into this person who just discovered GeoCities and decided to make their own website. It's just like...
Did you ever listen to Astonishing Legends?
I have not.
That is where I found out about this.
Oh, really?
They were the same, specifically about Skinwalker Ranch. They were like, we just went into this on a recommendation, and by the end we were like, holy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's so I probably spent the better half. Oh, by the way, hello everybody, and welcome to the Chilluminati podcast, episode 2. We should probably get into it officially. I'm super excited. This is going to be a really fun episode. This week we're going to be talking about the legend of the Skinwalkers, which is an ancient American Indian Navajo kind of lore thing. There's a lot to it that I didn't expect to, and the first half of the 2 weeks between episodes I spent diving into Skinwalker Ranch before I made an executive decision of let's just do Skinwalkers for right now, because
it's a lot.
Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch might be one of those things where we might have to do 2 episodes on it at some point.
Yeah, it's just like the Warrens. It's there's a lot to say.
There's a whole lot to say. But before we get into this episode, I want to say a couple things. First, we are now officially up on iTunes. We're on SoundCloud. We're on Stitcher, Tuner, you name it, Google Play, you name it, we're on it. I have submitted for Spotify. So if you listen at any one of those, especially iTunes, and you enjoy the podcast, hit the 5 stars. We already have 19 or 18 5-star ratings on iTunes just on the first episode. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Also, there should be a nice little musical intro that plays at the beginning of this episode, and I want to thank Matthew Proft for that musical intro. It's
legit. It's so good. It's really good.
It is incredibly good. We got a bunch of musical stuff sent our way, but that is exactly what we kind of envisioned right away. So thank you, man. That's awesome.
It's within 24 hours.
Yeah, it was within the 24 hours of the episode going live, he was just like, here you go. And I'm like, holy shit, that's perfect. That's perfect. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for the support on the first episode. We are super excited to keep doing this for you. I know a lot of people are like, I want weekly. Let's do this for every bi-weekly for a while and see how it pans out, and then if people are super into it, I'm down to go weekly as long as the other boys are as well. But quite a shift from going from Amityville to Skinwalkers this episode.
Yeah, we went to like Crazy Town right away.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if you're gonna do this, right? If you're gonna do a podcast like this, is there really any other thing than diving into Crazy Town, like, as soon as possible?
I feel like that's another great name for this podcast, is just the Crazy Town podcast.
I mean, just wait, man. When we start doing UFOs, Jesse's gonna lose his mind.
Here's the thing. No, UFOs, I will never argue on the possibility of life existing out in the universe. That'll never be an issue for me.
Okay, but
I just think UFO, if I was an alien from another galaxy, I'd be like, nah, I don't need to stop over there.
So,
like, you keep driving through that town. You don't stop. You're like,
there's
oh, they got McDonald's. I'm out. There's no reason for me to go there.
But here's what's you'll lose your mind about, Jesse, when we eventually get there. There's the theory and the belief that UFOs are from another planet out in space or whatever.
Are you saying it's time travel?
I'm saying that there's also the possibility that UFOs are actually from a parallel dimension and can warp space and time to breach that line between our realities.
Again, let me just put this out there. You're from a different parallel dimension. You say to yourself, I want to go to Earth 2017, 2018. Why would you do that? Of all the times you can travel, I'll pass on that.
Here, I don't want to get into it, but the reason they do it and the reason that they're here is because humanity and humans are able to access a very particular type of energy, and I'm not going to get into it, easier
than... that energy called le bullshit? That's what it sounds like.
Dude, again... Wait till we get there, because that is. I don't know how much Alex knows about what I'm talking about, but
I do know what you're talking about, and I am also like off work. Like, as soon as we finished the first episode, I was like, oh my god, there's so many things that I want to talk about, and I already started like doing research on some things. I tracked like an urban legend down to its very first appearance, ordered the book from the 80s, awesome. Reached out to the author, got a statement from the author.
That's so great. With UFOs, man, there's so many different theories of do you subscribe to I think it's the dominant 12 alien species, which include the Greys and the tall whites and the Nordics and the reptilians.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't fucking wait.
No. The answer is no. I do not subscribe to that. I do not subscribe to the ravings of lunatics. No, I don't.
Every once in a while, Jesse, you run across one of those stories that I don't know what it is.
There are some stories. I truly believe that there's the possibility that maybe 0.5% of alien-related stories could be true. But the other 99.5% is bullshit. People make it up because they want to feel important.
What about the recent declassification the government did of Project Black Book or whatever?
That's what I'm saying. But I wouldn't say that. Oh yes, well that's clearly one of the 12 dominant aliens.
No, of course.
I'd say who knows what that could be? It's an unidentified flying object. It could be anything. What do we know?
True.
It's right. But for them to be it is definitely one of the tall white Nordic men, no, that's not real. That's not a real thing.
The tall white Nordic men.
You combine two alien races together.
My bad. I'm so sorry.
There's the tall whites, which are they're in charge of the Greys, which we commonly run into.
Right. Everyone thought the Greys. Oh, I know this bullshit. Everyone thought the Greys were the aliens, but actually the Greys
turned out to be Mr.
Burns. The organic, the organic robot things that do the work.
Yes.
I know all that bullshit. Here's the thing. His bullshit. I refuse to subscribe to nonsense. I'm sorry.
This show, you guys don't even know what sort of great arguments we have baked into the future of the show.
Okay. We got two of the Chilluminati podcast. We're going to be talking about Skinwalkers, or as I like to call them, the ultimate evil druid prestige class in a D&D game or a video game. Because holy hell, they're fucking cool. They're scary.
It's scarily accurate. That's a very apt description of them, actually, if you know about D&D.
Yeah, the more I read about them, the more I was like, my god, I could make a D&D character based on this.
I don't know anything about Skinwalkers at all.
Get ready.
Perfect.
Get fucking ready.
Let's start, Jesse. Let's set the scene for you. You're driving down a dark road in New Mexico, the middle of the night. Your tow truck is fumbling down this busted up road, and in the distance.
Am I the tow truck driver?
Yeah, you're the driver. You're the driver. All right.
Question. Oh, is there anyone in the passenger seat, and is it a ghost that I picked up on the side of the road?
It is actually a small gray from a crashed alien spaceship that you are.
Is that gray a ghost I picked up on the side of the road?
It is a ghost of a gray. Yes, it's exactly what it is.
Oh my God!
It's Jesus.
Okay.
It's Jesus Christ riding with you.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus always rides with me, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so and you see like the glint of an animal's eyes in the middle of the road in the distance, and it's probably a coyote. But the closer you get, the more you realize those eyes are more human than they're animal. And then that coyote, as you drive by it, looks at you, and you notice its face is contorted, half human, half beast. And as you drive by it, it starts sprinting down the road with you, keeping up 60 miles an hour. And then it gets up off of its four legs, and it's now a human, a man, still bestial, but keeping up with you and chasing you.
That's impossible. That's it.
That's
no
a skinwalker.
Man can run on two
Because
legs
he's a
at
skinwalker.
60
He's
miles
no
an hour.
longer just a man.
That's not. No, but he became. You said he became a man.
Well, he looks like he's
a
still
skin-
bestial.
He's like a beast man.
Yeah.
All right, look. In this scenario, if someone was a beast,
Yes.
First off, I noticed that some beast had the eyes of a man, which if I noticed that, you know what, I'm doing good. I'm pretty good that night. And then, if he starts following me, I'd be like, what the hell is this? If he turned into a man next to me, I'd run my pickup truck into him. I'd take my tow truck and slam it into him, and then I'd report to the police and be like, that guy was a beast man.
If it were only so easy.
Right, if it were only so easy. So let's get into what a skinwalker is. So where do they come from? What is a skinwalker? Well, a skinwalker comes from Dene, which is the native term for what we call Navajo culture.
By the way, while we're here at the top of this episode, guys, we do not have great grasp on the way that these words should be properly pronounced.
Whoa, we're getting into some weird shit. So
let's just all agree that, you know what, we're gonna try our best.
right,
Okay?
and we're gonna do our best. And if you think we're wrong, tell me in the comments. That's totally fine. Or do your own research and tell me where I'm wrong there. So there's gonna be a.
So this is like a Native American.
This is
thing,
this is a Native American thing.
All right. There's some Native American stories that I am truly inclined to be like,
Yeah.
So, all right. I'll let you take me on an adventure.
You might get there. By the time we start talking about the ranch, whenever we get there, then you're gonna start feeling like, whoa.
Yes.
All right.
So, as I said, they are derived from Dene or Navajo culture. They're witches. Witches are seen as the polar opposite of ceremonial people. Where ceremonial people will sing to heal and protect people, witches do the opposite. Everything they do is evil and intended to hurt or curse and whatnot. And that's kind of where skinwalkers are. That's what they are in Dene culture. They're witches and they're evil. Witches.
It's like black magic kind of.
Exactly.
vibes, yeah.
Witches are associated with harm to the community, transgression of societal standards, especially those relating to family and the dead. Very, very kind of broad evil doers. Here's a word. Now, pardon me if I say it wrong. The Yi-Naldushi is the type of witch that we know as skinwalkers. So there are different types of witches, and the one we're focusing on here is the Yi-Naldalushi. Naldalushi.
Yeah, Nalgushi.
Yes. Skinwalkers is what they're known as. They are believed to take forms of animals in order to travel in secret and do harm to the innocent. In the Navajo language, the Yi-Naldalushi actually translates directly to, with it, he goes on all fours. Perhaps the most common variety is seen in horror fiction by non-Navajo people, is the one variety that specifically referred to as Antigini, and that is the type that, like I said, they're the type that turns into a beast man, can turn into animals, terrorizes innocent
So werewolves is what you're saying.
Very werewolf-esque, but you gotta understand, werewolves, they have that full moon where they can't control themselves and they get bitten.
Usually it's an accident if you become
Right.
a werewolf, whereas in this case you're like almost like a druid, like an evil.
So this is the wolf guys in Twilight then.
I have never seen
As
or
a person
read
who's never
Twilight,
seen that
so-
movie, I assume I've seen enough of the trailers to know they apparently can turn into wolves at the flip of a switch. So
it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, except like they're like straight up actually villains.
Right. Yep. Nope. They're straight up.
Well, I mean, how do you know that? Why are they villains?
Let's
why are
just
they
what
the
they are.
villains?
Because we'll get it here. Here, you want to know why they're villains? Because they're a weapon of choice, and a lot of the reason that they, one of the things they have to use to kill somebody in order to become one of these things, which we'll get into that ritual in a little bit, is something known as corpse powder or corpse poison, which is antij, A-N-T-J. Meaning literally witchery or harming, is a substance made from powdered corpses. The powder is used by witches to curse their victims. Corpse dust is composed of ground infant bones or often twin infants, specifically bones from the fingertips and the back of the skull. The Yi Naldalushi blow it into the faces of their victims or down the chimney of the victims' homes. Soon,
That's cold.
right?
Dude.
It's awful. Soon after they've inhaled it and breathed it in, taken it into their system, their tongue will start to swell and blacken. They undergo convulsions and die not long after. Sometimes, however, they just end up dying from what is seen as normal disease.
You know what? I don't believe that for a minute.
I'm
Which part?
yeah.
Like if they had gone into specifics, like the dust causes you to have a blackened tongue and it swells, then you go into convulsions and die, and that was it. Period. It's like, okay, this powder, everyone knows, like, oh, that must be a skin. However, victims simply just die because it seems like a normal disease, that's the BS factor. That's like the
You gotta remember. You gotta remember this is like part of their folklore also. So
Yeah.
a lot of the time, even if it's not actually like one of these stories that we'll get into later, like, it's kind of like a folk thing that, like, sometimes when somebody's sick, it's actually like a witch.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, no, I'm hedging my bets. I just feel like it's a little much to have the ... and then more
Yeah,
things. I'm saying it's quite possible, because if there is a skinwalker out there listening to this and they want to prove to the world they exist by killing me, I believe you exist. Don't I don't need that.
It does.
Give him
Don't
the
kill
black
me.
tongue shit. Give him the black tongue shit. Don't give
Don't
him
give
just
me
a
that.
regular disease.
I don't want the black tongue shit. No, man.
Rather
Don't
than a
put that
regular
on me.
disease.
I mean, I'm with Alex. It's like the whole disease thing that probably comes from older times where they couldn't explain how somebody got sick, so they were probably just like, oh, it must be.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
skinwalker.
But I think that's the whole. I think that's the whole thing. At least so far from what I've heard, it's the idea of we can't explain X, Y, and Z, so we put the blame on this other supernatural, otherworldly
and you
thing
see that
scares kids and keeps people in line. It's the old like Middle Ages thing of like, we'll just keep coming up with crazy, terrible things that if you don't do this is gonna happen to you. That kind of stuff.
Actually, I was gonna say you see that a lot in folklore around the world, where literal like kids disappearing could be just blamed on monsters, or this certain disease is blamed on witches, and hell, we were dealing with that in colonial times. We were blaming the witch trials and all that stuff. So, another reason too, though, Jesse, counterpoint, that you may not know the specifics is because traditionally Navajos hesitate to discuss any lore or witchcraft with anybody that's non-Navajo or who they just simply do not trust. So,
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Or is it possible they're like, hey, you white idiots, stop asking us questions about stuff that isn't a real thing. We're trying to live our lives.
Well, it's
that
not
possible?
it's not central to their religion. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really. I'd say this is like one of those things that you pull down the black casebook and like talk about, because I mean, while it does stay in folklore most of the time, the stories that you don't want to tell people are the ones that are hard to swallow.
There are still a ton of stories happening today of people seeing skinwalkers, and like I said, there's a whole skinwalker subreddit and everything. I saw a video of a border patrol guard. He was just talking on camera, interview style, about how he multiple times have come across animals that would then stand upright like a man and run off cackling. Like, just weird shit. But then again...
But why would a skinwalker show up and be like, I got your itch and run away? It doesn't make sense.
So, actually, it's a very good question. One of the reasons is they dedicate themselves in a lot of the time to a coyote-like god, and that particular god is the god of trickster, of tricking people, and they revel in the idea of causing immense fear and terror in those that they come across. They don't necessarily want to kill all the time. A lot of the time, they just want to fuck with you. And
it's like PR for evil.
Right? Yeah, it's evil PR. Right?
Yeah. it just makes everything very convenient that like they're tricksters, so they disappear all the time,
Right.
and that's why you never see them. But I saw it, right? And everyone's like, yeah, of course you did, because they're tricksters. I just, all right.
Well, this is an audio podcast, but I do again, just like that kid on the stairs who turned out to be that dude from that paranormal investigation at Amityville. Like,
Oh yeah.
I implore you to go look up some